Welcome to your channel Rayofhope, and this is going to be another series for our web application penetration testing, right? So basically in this module we are going to cover DOM based XSS. So what is DOM actually? Document object model is nothing but just a feature that browser uses to render the web pages. And how it is a vulnerability? Suppose if we are searching or if we are having any sort of input field, right, and whatever source or whatever input we are providing, it is getting stored or you can say executed in the sink. That is how this vulnerability happen. And always remember that DOM based XSS is a client side vulnerability, right? Now I just talk about two things, source and sink, right? What does that mean actually? These are the some common example that I have mentioned: document.url, document.url encode, base URL, location, cookie, referral name, or whatsoever, right? These are the some common sources. Now we have some sinks, right? Which are you can see over here, right? But again, what does it mean? Suppose source suppose with whatever input we are giving to them using whatever source or a comment box or search bar or search functionality or any sort of functionality where there we are providing any sort of input, that is a source of input, which is a source, and whatever the place is which is where it is getting stored or you can say executed, that would be a sink. Always remember that if you do not find sink and source in the code, think that the application is not vulnerable for this DOM XSS. It would be vulnerable for reflected XSS, right? This is the major point that you can talk about, while many people get confused between DOM and reflected XSS, right? Now if you see, there are what it can leads to: account hijacking, basically you can say account takeover, website defacement, malware distribution, and what not. For detailed video you can also watch my previous videos as well. What could be the mitigations that one can implement to mitigate DOM based XSS? Input validation, output encoding, content security policies. If you read it down, you would need to go little down in this, like in line script, self, you should avoid using those, right? So these are the some mitigation that one can implement. Well, now we have our theory portion is clear, right? If I put over here like nobody knows and hit enter, and then I want to inspect this to figure out, do I have any DOM object over here? No, I could not see directly, and going one by one will eventually take hell lot of time, right? So now what we can do over here, all I can do, just search or click over here, do Control F and search the value we have searched for, nobody. So we have two places, you can see. The one is in h1 tag and one which is in a script, right? This is a h1 tag, which means it's just a default result output that we are getting. But over here if you see, there's a script, and this is a JavaScript document.write, which is a sink where there it is getting executed, and the source is location.search functionality, and it is using a image tag, right? So basically whatever this windows.location.search, basically this is the source. Whatever it is searching for, it will get written where? In document.write DOM, which is a sink. right? So now we know that it is getting written over there, right? What else I can do over here? If I try it, there is a function called onload, right? So if I use that function over here, onload, onload, right? And then if I put like alert 1 and hit enter, just a moment, and if I just hit enter, it popped up, right? So now it will look over here in the source code why it happened, right? Again, if you look over here in the source code, this is the payload, right? If you look over here, we are getting the normal response. That means this tag is not vulnerable, right? It is treating as a user input itself. But in the meantime, when we look over here at the source code, which is a search functionality, which is a source, and this is a sink, and if you look over the payload, this is the image tag. Over here, the payload where there be uses the double quote, it closes the code, actually script, right? And then this script treat as a XSS payload, and we were able to execute it. But in the meantime, we do have another payload, right? Which we can say like on error, on error, and if I hit enter, I did not get popped up. Did I get popped up? It was earlier only. Or now if I do like this script, nothing. We are getting the same response, right? So basically, when you use DOM XSS, it is always better to look over the source code and find out what's the developer written code and where it is getting stored. Based on that, you can form a new payload, and then you can perform the again. When we are using the on error, it will only load if the image fails. But when we are using on load script, right, it happens after the image getting executed, we get the pop-up. The command is same, guys. You can see for on error we did not have pop-up. For on load payload we get the pop-up, right? So basically error happen if the image fails, but if over here it is not failing, we are getting the output. Therefore you can say on load is working and on error is not working, right? So I hope you learned something today for DOM XSS. If you like the video, do like, subscribe and comment your views. Thank you.